Well, that's UConn's head basketball coach. He's been there forever. He's also the guy that recruited, and that's where Diana Taurasi played college basketball. Representation to describe these people: CDS, Clark derangement syndrome, or Caitlin derangement syndrome.
Geno Auriemma just threw shade at Caitlin Clark, and WNBA fans are losing it. The legendary UConn coach called Clark's supporters delusional.
And so now we're following Clark's career in, and there's something, I guess, wrong with her fans.
Elite skills that are going to really help her.
Yeah,
but she needs to be on a better. She needs to be on a better team, and she needs to be more experienced.
But is he right, or is there more to this story than meets the eye? Here's the thing: Auriemma didn't hold back. He straight up said Clark was set up for failure right from the beginning. Why? Because of all the hype around her joining the WNBA. You might be wondering, is this just sour grapes, or does he have a point? But wait, there's more.
These comments are starting to pop back up. SI brought them up. Nonetheless, a couple of months ago, they were talking about Caitlin Clark, and now
this isn't just about Clark. It's about the whole WNBA. Auriemma's words have sparked a firestorm. Fans are angry, players are talking, and the league is buzzing. Is Clark's rep on the line? You bet. And the WNBA? They're caught in the crossfire. So, is Clark really doomed to fail, or is this the start of something bigger? Stick around. We're about to find out if the rookie sensation can prove Auriemma wrong and shake up the WNBA for good. Caitlin Clark's arrival in the WNBA was like a meteor hitting the league. Fans were hyped, media was buzzing, and expectations through the roof. But hold up, not everyone was buying the hype. Geno Auriemma, the legendary UConn coach,
Geno Auriemma's old comments about Caitlin Clark's WNBA rookie year look silly now. And we'll get to this stuff that he talked about, but he slammed Caitlin Clark fans.
Had some choice words about Clark's entry into the pros. Auriemma didn't pull any punches. He flat out said Clark was set up for failure right from the beginning. Why? Because of all the crazy expectations her fans put on her. But that's not all. Auriemma went in on Clark's physique, saying she wasn't ready for the WNBA's physical play. He questioned if she could handle the pressure of fame and the toughness of the league. Now, you might be thinking, is Auriemma just being a hater? But here's the thing. The WNBA is a whole different beast compared to college ball, and Clark, she found that out real quick.
The fans coming in to watch her had never watched basketball. Had I watched the WNBA? Hell no.
Let's talk about Clark's first few games. It wasn't pretty. The Indiana Fever, Clark's new team, started the season 2-9. That's a tough pill to swallow for any rookie, let alone one with Clark's hype. But it gets worse. Remember that incident with Chennedy Carter? Carter hit Clark with a foul so hard, it had everyone talking. It was like a wake-up call, showing Clark just how physical the WNBA can get. Clark even said she felt hammered by the league's physical play. That's no joke. But it's not just about the physicality. The pressure on Clark is intense. Every move she makes is under a microscope. Every shot, every pass, every mistake, it's all amplified. And that's exactly what Auriemma was talking about. The hype machine has put a target on Clark's back, and every player in the league wants a piece of her. You might be wondering, can Clark handle all this? It's a fair question. The transition from college star to WNBA rookie isn't easy. Just ask Diana Taurasi. She said Clark was in for a rude awakening in the pros. And let's be real, Taurasi knows a thing or two about making it in the WNBA. So, is Auriemma right? Is Clark really set up for failure? It's starting to look that way. The slow start, the physical play, the pressure, it's all adding up. But here's where it gets interesting. Despite all the challenges, Clark isn't backing down. She's taking the hits, learning from her mistakes, and pushing forward. That's the kind of determination that can turn things around. And who knows? Maybe all this adversity is exactly what Clark needs to prove herself. Think about it. If Clark can overcome these early struggles, imagine how strong she'll be. Every player who doubted her, every fan who questioned her, every critic who said she couldn't cut it, they'll all be eating their words. And that's a story worth watching. But hold up, folks. This story just took a wild turn. Geno Auriemma's comments about Caitlin Clark didn't just ruffle feathers. They set off a full-blown firestorm. And now, the legendary coach is feeling the heat. You see, WNBA fans aren't just mad. They're questioning Auriemma's motives. Why would he come at Clark like that? Some are saying it's sour grapes. Remember, Auriemma didn't recruit Clark for UConn. Now she's the talk of the league, and he's on the sidelines. Coincidence? Maybe not. But wait, there's more to this than just Auriemma versus Clark. This whole mess has opened up a can of worms about the WNBA itself. We're talking bias, jealousy, and some serious double standards. Think about it. When a player like Clark comes in with all this hype, it's not just the fans who get excited. The media goes wild, sponsors line up, and suddenly there's a new face of the league. But not everyone's thrilled about that. Some players and coaches, they might be feeling a little green with envy. Now, Auriemma said the WNBA is too physical for Clark, but is that really the issue? Or is it about something deeper? Are we seeing a clash between old school and new school? Between those who paid their dues and the new kids getting all the attention? Let's break it down. The WNBA has been fighting for respect and recognition for years. Players have worked their butts off, often for way less money and attention than their male counterparts. Then along comes Clark, fresh out of college with a massive following and big sponsorship deals. You can see why some might feel a little salty, but here's where it gets tricky. Is it fair to take that out on Clark? She didn't create the system. She's just playing the game and playing it damn well. So when Auriemma talks about her being set up for failure, is he really talking about Clark? Or is he taking a shot at the whole system? This isn't just about one player or one coach. It's about the growing pains of a league that's trying to find its place. The WNBA is at a crossroads. They've got rising stars like Clark bringing in new fans and media attention, but they've also got veterans who've been grinding for years, feeling like they're getting overshadowed. So, is Auriemma right about the league's physicality? Maybe. The WNBA is tough, no doubt about it, but is that really what's at the heart of his comments? Or is he giving voice to a bunch of unspoken tensions in the league? Here's the kicker. This whole controversy, it's shining a spotlight on some deep-rooted issues in women's basketball. We're talking about the gap between college and pro ball, the way media attention is divided, and yeah, even some generational differences. But you know what? Maybe this is exactly what the WNBA needs. A little controversy, a little drama, and a whole lot of people talking about women's basketball. Because at the end of the day, that's what's going to help the league grow. So where does this leave us? With a rookie who's got the weight of the world on her shoulders, a legendary coach who stirred up a hornet's nest, and a league that's right in the middle of an identity crisis. Talk about drama. Remember when everyone was saying Caitlin Clark was in over her head? Well, hold on to your seats, because this story just took a wild turn. Clark's not just surviving in the WNBA, she's thriving. And those critics, they're starting to look pretty silly right about now. Let's rewind a bit. Clark's start in the league wasn't exactly smooth sailing. The Indiana Fever were struggling, and Clark was feeling the heat, but something changed. Maybe it was Clark finding her rhythm, or maybe it was the doubters lighting a fire under her. Whatever it was, Clark flipped the script. You want to talk about a comeback? Clark's been on a tear lately. The Fever have won 4 of their last 5 games. That's not just good, that's a complete 180 from where they started. And guess who's been leading the charge? Yep, you guessed it, Caitlin Clark. Now, I know what you're thinking. Sure, they're winning, but is Clark really playing that well? Oh, you better believe it. We're talking about numbers that are making the whole league sit up and take notice. But here's the thing. We're not gonna spill all the beans just yet. Let's just say Clark's been putting up stats that have people whispering MVP already. But hold up, is this enough to shut down the critics? Remember, we're not just talking about any critic here. We're talking about Geno Auriemma, one of the most respected coaches in women's basketball. He said Clark was set up for failure, that she couldn't handle the physicality of the league. So, the million-dollar question is, has Clark done enough to prove him wrong? Well, let's look at the facts. Clark's not just playing well, she's dominating. We're talking about a rookie who's already breaking records. She's leading the league in assists per game. That's not just good for a rookie. That's good for anyone in the WNBA. And remember when everyone was worried about her adjusting to the pro game? Yeah, about that. Here's where it gets really interesting. Clark isn't just putting up nice numbers, she's in the MVP conversation. That's right, a rookie is tied for second in MVP odds. If that doesn't silence the critics, I don't know what will. But let's break down those numbers, shall we? Clark is averaging 17.3 points, 8.3 assists, and 5.8 rebounds per game. Stop and think about that for a second. Those aren't just good numbers, they're elite numbers. We're talking about a player who's not just scoring, but making her teammates better too. And those rebounds? They show she's not afraid to mix it up in the paint, despite what Auriemma said about her physicality. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. It's still early in the season. Can she keep this up? That's a fair question. But here's the thing. Clark's already shown she can adapt and overcome. She took those early struggles, learned from them, and came back stronger. That's not just talent, that's mental toughness. So where does this leave us? We've got a rookie who's not just living up to the hype, she's exceeding it. We've got a player who was supposedly set up for failure, now setting up her team for success. And we've got a league that's buzzing with excitement over what Clark might do next.